This week you could win one of 3 bundles for the Silver Bayonet. Winners will be chosen from OnTableTop.com, YouTube and the Cultists Games members.
Hello everybody. Today, as part of the Silver Bayonet theme week, I'm going to be taking a look at all the monsters from North Star for Wave 5 to go with the Carpathian Castle Fier book. Okay, for the first of our Wave 5 miniatures, I'm going to start with ones that are specific to the Carpathian book. And here is Markia Lupul, the vampire. The man it's all about, the Iron Keep campaign. So, Screaming Vampire has that tiara, I suppose. Could be a crown. Coronet, mayhaps. Lovely detail on him. Understated, but he has that sort of Dracul feel, where he's got the slight crown, the militaristic look to him, even though he's wearing a lot of cloth. There are bracers and the front of the outfit could be some form of armour. A lot of cloth, so potential to do lots of interesting painting on him. And then an actual, it's like a fur, big long fur sort of cuffs or half cuffs that his hands come out of to allow him more manoeuvring range. And then the back of his cloak as well is furred and screaming to the night. So he is a whopper 31 millimeters to eye level, and an absolute brute in the game as well. He's not the only sort of character. There is also the delightful Forest Mother. So if you play through the solo or cooperative campaign, then you can run into Muma Paduri, probably not pronounced correctly, the forest witch or the mother of the forest. Again, single piece model, some really interesting details on her as well, apart from the little forest spirit web catcher sort of icon she has there. She has a snake wrapped around this arm and the head just coming forward just at the tip of my nail there. So sort of looking after the forest, the old woman, particularly vile and evil and ugly hag, but a really nice figure. She is a bit shorter than the vampire, coming in at 25 mil. Oh, yeah, about 25 mil, 26 maybe. Which you'd expect, sort of creeping around. She's not as big and domineering as Markia. There are also some interesting beasts. So we have 2 bloodless hounds. So these hounds are deliberately bred and then killed and resurrected, meaning that they are some form of unkillable zombie hound. The remains need to be completely destroyed by fire or acid, otherwise they will, like a T-1000, slowly put themselves together again. They are 2 models, roughly 40 millimeters long from snout to tail. Obviously the other one is leaping, so it might be a bit longer. Again, lots of interesting bits and pieces on these where we've got disfigurement, flesh and muscle showing through beneath the skin, but a really nice pair of devilish hounds to set on the various nations. This guy is the taller. He is roughly 25mm to the top of his head. So a big beast when it comes to it, but not as big as this guy. So this is a dog head, a Carpathian, don't know. Anyway, it is essentially a troll or an ogre in the sort of Romanian area, capturing kids and princesses and that sort of thing. Interesting defining feature, apart from the dog head, is the 4 eyes. So you can see 2 and 2. It's an absolute beast of a piece. Really nice sculpt. Not sure what is going on with that collar. Maybe it's the if found, please return to the forest witch. Now, poses a quandary. Which eye do I measure to? If we measure to the first eye, he's 35mm tall. If we measure to the second eye, he is 37mm tall. So, split the difference, 36 to eye level. But, yeah, a massive brute. And not something that the intrepid heroes will want to come across particularly often. Apart from being large and very strong, he also has damage reduction, which means people aren't going to get rid of him particularly easily. We also have a pair of Virkula. So here are our 2. These are a feral subspecies of vampire. Big and winged. Again, single piece casts. Really nice detail sculpted into them. All I've done is minimum cleanup to get off some of the flashing. So I've still got sort of mold lines to clean, and the mold lines run sort of around the middle of the body. Not so noticeable on the outer wings. Slightly more noticeable on the inner legs. And you might be able to see one there as well. But they're fairly small, so it shouldn't take much to either scrape or file those off. They are around 29mm to eye level. So again, a big beasts and a really interesting pair of monsters. So those are the ones that are specific to the Carpathian book. But Wave 5 also brought in a few other things, so I'll just quickly run through those. These are from the main Silver Bayonet book. So we have a Dark Wolf. Again, nice cast. It's fairly simple. It is a wolf. There's nothing screamingly weird or different about it. But nice, nevertheless, to have. Then we have our Ghouls. And these I like. There are a set of 5. So they have a variety of interesting little embellishments. So ragged clothes, very damaged weapons. This knife has clearly seen better days for this poor fellow, as they've turned to human flesh. But other ones are slightly different. This guy and this guy both look like they've been chained up at some point, perhaps chained up with other prisoners, and then their captors forgot about them and they were forced to turn on their friends, hence the manacles and the ball and chain as they drag themselves around the place. Then we have the lady of the house and the man of the house, who looks like he may have been a butcher or some form of carpenter at some point. I don't know. He's got a very significant apron on. They both are carrying massive cleavers, hammers and daggers, but the overall look of all of these is a ragged, wandering band of flesh-eating subhumans, which is always good. Moving from the subhumans to the posh humans, there's also a blister of Cultists. The Cultists are wearing a mix of clothes. So we have 5 figures all wearing masks, because just when you're a cultist you don't want other people to know who and what you are, but wearing a mixture of sort of finery, although there are 1 or 2 that look like they may not be the upper echelons, but perhaps working for the upper echelons, who can say. But everybody's equal when you're in the cult. It's a great leveler. I do like these. I like the way, if you see them on the North Star page, they've been painted with like a vivid red mask. And being a Vincent Price fan, I just like that look. And we also have a lady. The lady has a whip. So they're mostly terrible at fighting. They work through weight of numbers, so cudgels, unarmed type of affair. But really nice set of figures for any of your cultists parties that you may be wanting to do. The last group from Wave 5 of the Silver Bayonet are probably my favourite. Shh, say nothing. They are the Pixies, and these are utterly adorable, borderline ridiculous, and in game terms not terrifying but annoying. So they are almost impossible to pin in combat. If you get into combat, they'll run off a bit. However, they stop your weapons from working within 6 inches, and they can fly around the place. So all they do is mob up and gum up the works. And when something big and nasty is coming towards you and you don't have a chance to kill it, because these things have stopped your guns from working, then you get really annoyed. These little dotes are utter delight. Very exaggerated features, so massive faces, big pie faces on them, and then some of them have spectacularly long limbs like this one, almost to a farcical extent. And this little pixie has got sort of more regular legs but big long arms, and again that huge moon face, all with a very impish sort of feel to them. And then they've obviously all got their sort of fairy wings, which I think might be a candidate for some of these colour flip paints that the kids use these days. So a little set of 5 Pixies to round out Wave 5. I will measure, let's say, the tallest one, who's probably going to be this fellow with his big arms upraised. This Pixie is about 16 mil to eye level. But then some of the other small ones, with ones sitting down, are going to be closer to 10. Yeah, about 10 mil. So a really nice little band of wandering annoyances to set on people just before you swoop in with one of the huge Wave 5 monsters and rip their heads off. So there we have it, folks. An absolute ton of monsters, some fantastic sculpts in there. Hard to pick a favourite. I really like the dog face, the Carpathian. It's such an unusual take on an ogre style trolley type thing that I've never heard of before. I like it has that sort of Rottweilerish look, which I think is probably how I'm going to paint it up, sort of black and russet reds. The Virkulas, the flying feral vampires, are really nice figures as well. But then there's also the little pixies. See the little pixies dance, and they're just that mix of weird, whimsical and unusual that you get with the Silver Bayonet. So a whole wealth of figures in there, some great character models and monsters. Let me know what your favourite below is, and don't forget to check out the rest of the videos throughout this week. Bye-bye.
This week you could win one of 3 bundles for the Silver Bayonet. Winners will be chosen from OnTableTop.com, YouTube and the Cult of Games members.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.